When did someone try a crazy or cringe pickup on you? Let me start my story by stating the fact that I am very, very pregnant. I am so hugely and obviously pregante that people feel the need to approach me in public and offer their condolences for how pregnant I am. I'm not kidding. Men and women alike have stopped me just to say, "You poor thing, I'm so sorry. You look miserable." That's how purgent I happen to be at the moment. That being said, my favorite place to be in the entire world is in a pool. Swimming makes me feel like a normal human being. The swelling in my hands and feet goes down, the pressure on my hips vanishes, my belly button goes back to being an innie. It's wonderful. Anyway, last weekend my friend texts me and asks if I'm up for a swim. I certainly am up for a swim. However, it's a little after 8:30 and my condo's pool closes at 9. We decide to go to the pool at her apartment complex as it's open until 10. We make our way out to the pool, where the only occupant is a middle-aged guy wearing a swim cap and goggles. I don't pay him any mind, I just figure it's a resident doing some evening laps. No big deal. He watches us get in the pool and says something I can't make out. I ask him to repeat himself and he just says, "I'll swim over there." Okay. So my friend and I start chatting about nothing in particular and Mr. Swimcap starts awkwardly butting into our conversation. He wasn't trying to add to it, he would just ask random questions, only we couldn't make out what he was trying to say. So we kinda brushed him off and he started swimming around the pool and keeps accidentally swimming into us. Keep in mind, he's wearing goggles. So we move to another part of the pool and try to act like nothing's happening. He stops trying to swim into us and just starts staring at us. Then he says something, and the conversation goes as follows. "Who wanna date?" I say, "What? Who wanna go date?" "Dude, I can't understand what you're trying to say." "Would you want to go on a date?" I pause. "Are you talking to me or her?" And I motion towards my non-pregnant friend. You. I think you're really attractive. Do you want a date?" No, I'm very flattered, but no thank you." "So you don't want a date?" No, I don't want to go on a date with you." "You have a man?" "Yeah, I have a man. We're fixing to have a baby." "Do you live together?" "Yes, we do." "So you don't want to go on a date?" "No. Dude, no, I don't want to go on a date with you." "But would you?" "Would I what?" "Go on a date with me. I think you're a really attractive person." "No, I'm done talking to you now. Please leave us alone." I go back to my friend and we start discussing exit strategies as the guy continues to talk to himself. Luckily, my friend's male neighbor decided to come and hang out for a bit, and Mr. Swimcap starts ranting at the neighbor about who knows what. Mortgage companies, maybe. So we try to enjoy the remainder of our time in the pool. A little while later, the security guard comes by to lock up. My friend, her neighbor, and I bolt out of there while Mr. Swimcap is gathering his things. Good guy neighbor walks me to my car to ensure there are no creepers lurking about. Look. There are pregnant women who are single, attractive, and who might be very receptive to going on dates. But it's a real big swing to ask them, and you've got to learn to take no for an answer no matter what you're into. And I do kind of wonder whether this guy was specifically interested in her because she was pregante, or whether he thought literally any woman dating him was a win at that point and that her standards for some reason might be lower because she was pregnant. In any case, weird messed up dude. Gave a speech for a class once, and after my speech ended, I went to take a leak and get a drink. On the way back to class, a cute Asian girl from the class was in the hall, looking like she was waiting for someone. I assumed her boyfriend, since he was also in the class with us. She saw me and lit up and asked if I wanted to join her for a cig. I don't smoke, but I obliged to keep her company since other people's speeches suck, and we headed outside. We joked around a bit, she tried flirting, but I have a girlfriend and didn't reciprocate. Figured she was just a bubbly person. Right when we were about to head back, she hands me a slip of paper with her number and says, "You should give me a call later today. We can get high and get to know each other better." I ask about her boyfriend and she says, "He's working later." I of course politely declined, went back to class, and spent the rest of the day wondering why the scenarios straight from the script of an adult movie always happen when I'm in happy, committed relationships, but never when I'm single. When we got back to class, she gave her boyfriend a peck on the cheek and sat back down next to him. I was walking down the street in the middle of December, hands stuffed in my pea coat, walking behind a young man who looks pretty paranoid. He finally stops and asks, Do you have a piece?" I pull my hands out of my pocket and shrug. "Nope, no weapon." "Oh, do you have any green herb?" "Nope, dude, sorry." Oh, do you have a boyfriend? Priorities, man. Priorities. I was walking down a street in Berkeley, often lined with older homeless guys and panhandlers. It was a warm day, so I was wearing a cute but modest black and white polka dot 50s style dress that always got me a lot of attention from the men. Anyways, walking by two older guys sitting on the sidewalk near each other, but far away enough not to encroach on each other's change-seeking turfs, when the first one I pass hollers something to the effect of, "Hey girl, let me see that dress on my bedroom floor." Ironic because, well, you know. To which the second homeless guy responds, without missing a beat, "Hey, don't you talk to my wife that way. She's a lady." In short, random Berkeley bum defended my honor. I was arrested in high school for a spontaneous bout of stupidity, and as I got into the cop car, I realized that there was a teenager doing a ride-along with the cop. I don't think much of it, seeing as that, I was pretty busy focusing on how much trouble I was going to be in. A few days later, as I settled into my permanent grounding, I got on Facebook. Lo and behold, I have a Facebook message. The boy doing the ride-along with the cop had written down my contact information and found me on Facebook just so that he could send me, "Hey girl, I just wanted you to know that I hated arresting a woman as beautiful as you." I was walking down the street with my mother. As it was summertime, I was in shorts and platform sandals, which were in fashion at the time. I walked by two guys, and one of them starts telling me he loves me and he wanted to go out with me. My mum asks him if he was crazy, to which he replied, "I'm crazy for her. I was 9. I was hanging out with a friend the day before Easter. She had to drop by another friend's house for a quick errand, so I went with her. They had an Easter party going on for this woman's children and a few of her friends. The parents were having a barbecue, and the kids had done an Easter egg hunt and moved on to painting pictures for their parents. A normal enough fellow started chatting with me, and after about 10 minutes with the group, I realized he was there with his 2-year-old and the baby's mum. I wasn't sure if they were together, but I just assumed they were and left it at that. So when we went to leave, I was totally taken aback when he pulled me from the doorway where everyone was saying goodbye to each other. He shook my hand and whispered, "Shh, it was so great to meet you. Shh." He put his finger to his lips, winked, and then turned me back around to face the group. I just stumbled through my normal goodbyes and left without acknowledging him. While walking away, I unfolded what had slipped me while shaking my hand. It was his number and a note that said, "You're cute. Text me," torn from a large chunk of the Easter painting his child had proudly handed him 10 minutes before. In short, Father of the Year destroys his child's masterpiece to hit on me in broken English, in front of his baby mama. Quality bloke. I wonder if she took him up on his offer. Oh, whoops. Guess she just threw that number into the trash can in the same kitchen that it was handed to her next to. What are the chances? Walking down the main street of a medium-sized town with my girlfriend and her sister. An all-right guy in an all-right-looking car, maybe about 22 to 25, pulls up and shouts to the sister, "Hey, you in the blue, come get in the car, go with me." They were married 4 months later. Last I heard, it was still going strong, but that's been a while. I didn't say anything at the time because I thought she knew the guy, and later I was annoyed at her. "I'm pretty sure she's messing with you and she knew him somehow." My parents were walking through Target when this stumpy guy walks up to my mum. He says, "Sugar zero, sugar zero, sugar zero." Mum laughs and asks him what he means, and the guy goes, "If anyone asks, you can tell them that I whispered sweet nothings to you." My dad was laughing too hard to care. In short, Mum got told sweet nothings by a gnome. I have very, very long hair. It reaches below my knees. If it helps you visualize, I'm a slim Asian female. "Damn, girl, your hair be crazy, like a motherfucking horsetail." "Hey, you should know I'm a total stallion, babe." This guy leans in really close and starts stroking it. I get the frick out of there as fast as possible. He calls after me in a gruff plead, "Oh, come on, girl. Let me see if all your hair be that long and beautiful." I briskly walk away, but not before I hear him turn back towards a buddy and swear. He thinks I've got a crazy long bush? I've also just had a guy grab my chest out of nowhere. I punched him on the ear. You can submit your own stories to be featured here on the channel. The story submission link is in the description below. And if you want to listen to some vibey music in the background, check out Easy Mode, also linked below, and subscribe. I got a new job teaching computer courses to adult classes of adult learners. I go to check out an apartment I found on Craigslist near my new job. the renter and I exchange some emails. I tell her about my job and she tells me about the nutrition supplement she sells. She also tells me entirely too much about her life, her ex-husband, and her custody battle over her 13-year-old son. Boundary issues. Got it. But I respond very sympathetically towards her because I'm a people pleaser with my own boundary issues. We hit it off. The address is a house and I figure it must be a duplex of some sort. The renter invites me in. She's a 40-something-year-old woman, fairly attractive, and I'm in my early 20s at the time. She introduces me to her son, who's in the living room playing Guitar Hero. Then she shows me the room, which is just off the living room, separated by a curtain. I tell her I'm surprised. I thought she'd listed an apartment. No, she explains, it's just the room, but it comes furnished with the dresser and this waterbed. Don't worry about the curtain, she says. You'll have plenty of privacy. You just need to turn this fan on. She turns the fan on. She sits on the bed and asks me if I like waterbeds. I tell her I've never been on one. She invites me onto the bed with her. I demur, she cajoles, and promises me it will be fun. I don't get hit on much. I'm a good-looking guy but quiet, and I'm just not used to having signals sent my way. But at this point, I put it together that she's inviting me to engage in hanky-panky, while her son is 15 feet away, on the other side of a curtain. I'll admit, I was interested despite my common sense, but common sense did win the day. I get out of there as quickly as possible and tell her I'll have to think about the room situation. Epilogue, the next week, guess who shows up at my Level 1 Windows Vista class? And guess who pretended he'd never seen her before in his life? This guy. It seems like you definitely should have gone through with it to avoid that social situation, dear commenter. But in all seriousness, that is an awkward proposition, especially with her offspring in listening distance. I was waiting for the last train from Paris to go back to my good old suburbs. So this is right after midnight. The station was quite empty, only a few people left around. I should probably mention that I'm a girl and alone. Anyway, I have about 15 minutes left to wait, and this old guy just comes and sits next to me. After a few minutes, he gets the courage to ask me, "Could I ask you a favor?" "Sure." "Oh, never mind, it's okay." He looked really sad and miserable about something, so I tried to be nice and insist, thinking he's just going to want to talk about something. Could I see your feet?" "Excuse me?" "I think you have beautiful feet. Could I just see them? I won't touch or anything. I just want to look. You can keep your socks on if you want." At that point, I'm quite weirded out. I was wearing some Converse, and this guy was making me feel bad for telling him I don't want to show him my feet. He kept insisting with this miserable look on his face. He even suggested to get on the next train, and if there's too many people, I don't have to if I'm being shy or something. I actually felt like I had to apologize to him because I didn't want to show him my feet. In short, I apologized to a creeper who wanted to see my feet. As a bonus, on the same night, I got off the train and walking towards my dad's car, waiting for me, another car drops their window and someone mumbles at me, "Hey, what's your name?" At which I'm too tired to think and mechanically reply like they're asking something from me. "Sorry, I don't have a name." I felt embarrassed at the time about being so dumb, but it turns out it's a quite funny way to get rid of weirdos. So I witnessed this at a bar one night. This was at a college bar in California. Anyways, this young couple were sitting at the table next to mine and it was apparent they were dating, holding hands, smiling at each other constantly, among other things, and were minding their own business when out of nowhere a guy in his early 20s and clearly a bit drunk walks up to their table and looks at the girl for a second, then glances at the guy and says, "Hey guy, mind if I talk to your sister?" Well, hearing this, I look over at the boyfriend and he has this look on his face that just screams, "What the frick?" So here's how the rest of the conversation goes. Boyfriend says, "She's my girlfriend, man, so yeah, I mind." "You're dating your sister? Isn't that illegal?" "No, she's not my sister, she's my girlfriend." "Oh, so she was your sister and now she's your girlfriend." "No, leave us alone, kid." At this point, the drunk guy turns around and yells for his friend to come over. "Hey, come over here, this guy's dating his sister." So the next thing I know, this well-groomed and dressed guy, clearly gay, comes over to the table to see what kind of trouble his buddy is getting into. "He's dating his frickin' sister." "Isn't that illegal?" "That's what I said." Well, now the couple are pretty annoyed and the girl suggests to her boyfriend that they go somewhere else. As they gather their things and start to walk away, the second guy walks up to the girl and says, "Hey, would you mind if I talk to your brother?" And this look of horror spreads across her face as she realizes the gay guy wants to talk to her man. They basically ran out of the bar and the two guys busted up laughing from the reaction they got. In short, mind if I talk to your sister? I'm trying to figure out which one was the wingman. I was in the back seat of my friend's truck with a girl I just met riding home one day. I make small talk, maybe 2 minutes of pleasantries are exchanged. Throughout the ordeal, I'm totally enthusiastic and just the embodiment of suave. I ask her, "Do you have a boyfriend?" "No." "Do you want one?" "Oh, you're serious?" "Yeah, babe." "Sure." I'll never be that cool again. Keep in mind, I'm normally fairly shy around new people. In short, I felt like Fabio. I think this might be one of the rare instances the narrator has read about where that level of boldness, in the company of other friends no less, has actually worked out for the better and not in a humiliating rejection. Then again, the rejection stories are the ones that are generally the juiciest, according to your comments, you disaster-craving weirdos. No judgment, they're more fun for me to read too. My mum was working at her pharmacy job at the pickup counter when a man came up to her and gave her a pickup line something along the lines of, "Hey, I'm not here to pick up medicine, I'm here to pick you up." That man is my father. There used to be this veteran who went to my college and always wore his uniform, and he used to hit on me in the creepiest ways until I reported his butt. It started off just as friendly banter every once in a while, until one night he has me cornered alone in the bus shelter. "I bet you taste good, little princess, like cotton candy." I walked down to the next bus stop. I was riding my bike and got hit by a car. The guy stopped and we exchanged information. I got a call later and it's him asking me if I was all right, which I thought was normal and nice of him, but then he follows it up with if I'd want to get lunch with him. He then proceeded to call me every day, leaving messages like, "You want to get lunch? I'm really hungry." You don't break a person's tailbone and then ask them out. When I'm drunk, I always seem to want to hit on lesbians. I always have a very good time too, and I've gotten a few numbers, but it's not like I was trying to convert them or something, so I always wake up the next morning wondering what the frick I was trying to pull. I made a few good friends that way though. My girlfriend and I were walking along the beach in San Diego last year. An older gentleman, probably late 50s or so, came up to me and said, "Son, if I had your body and my money, I'd be unstoppable. How about we put the two of them together?" My girlfriend just about fell over laughing while I tried to politely decline. As we walked away, he let me know, "You're even more fine watching from behind." I still haven't lived that one down. I was walking back to my car one night and a group of young guys were hanging out on the sidewalk, taking up most of the width of it. My friend and I had to walk through their group. As we walked through, a guy stepped in really close to me and whispered, "Girl, I'll buy you Starbucks every night." I had no idea how to respond, so I just smiled and kept walking. But later, I had to wonder, do non-white men think that the way to a preppy-ish looking white woman's heart is the promise of Starbucks runs? Because, well, he's kind of right, I guess. This isn't mine, as I've never been hit on, but when I was going to college, I was sitting in the cafeteria with a group of about 11 people who all knew each other and were D&D nerds together. There were 4 very attractive girls in this group. One kind of sweat-smelling, mouth-breathing, newish guy who'd only recently joined our little group leans over to one of the girls in the group and brags about how he can do a perfect Zap Brannigan impersonation. She asks to see and he goes, "If I said you had a beautiful body, would you take your pants off and dance around a little?" in Zap's voice. We laugh in that awkward, not sure if he's an unspeakable act offender way, and I have to leave for class. The next day, he gets to the table before the girl from earlier does, strikes a heroic pose and says, "Kipf, I've made it with a woman. Inform the men." The girl is mortified that he not only told everyone, but told everyone in Zap Brannigan's voice. Fortunately, he had the good sense to be too embarrassed to show his face again after that. In short, Zap Brannigan's pickup lines apparently work. I was at a beach with 3 other friends. It was a weekday, so there wasn't a crowd, but a bearable amount of people to handle. We were enjoying ourselves and my friend and I were just floating about and talking, when I then noticed this tan guy not too far away from us. He was staring straight at us with an extremely creepy, perverted grin. We decided to swim back to shore and started to take pictures, and guess who decides to come along? Creepy tanned guy. At this point, we still haven't really reacted, but then he starts running back and forth on the beach, never taking his eyes away from me and my group. He eventually starts doing his little running routine closer and closer to us. When we thought it couldn't get weirder than that, it did. Every time he ran towards us, he slowed down, eyed us up and down, then smiled his creepy smile and began chanting. He was chanting actual gibberish, no English words or any language you would recognize. It was like he was performing a frickin' ritual on us. It was creepy as heck. In short, creepy dark tan guy tried to hit on me and my friends using some mystic ritual at the beach. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. Put the playlist on in the background to finish listening to all the stories, or if you want some vibey music to put on in the background, check out Easy Mode. If you like Am I the Genius, give Am I the Jerk a shot. Everything linked in the description.